Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today, we got Brandon.
Yo,
We're here to talk about games and things.
it's me. Hello. I played
uh,
games.
we did. What
So did
games
Mike.
to talk about? Huh?
I said, so did you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Everyone did, probably.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
In the world.
In the world.
Yeah,
All right, you ready to get into it?
sure am.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess we both played Vampire Crawlers, so I
We
guess we can
did.
start there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what have you been doing in it now that? Because you talked about it, I think last week too.
Mm-hmm.
What are you in this game at the moment?
97% complete with 100%ing the game.
Okay.
4
So a lot.
achievements away from finishing literally everything.
All right. Yeah. So you're almost there. So it seems like it's gotten your hooks on you because I don't think you were
Yes.
that into it
Yes.
last time.
Absolutely. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a lot more to the game than I thought there would be. There are 8 stages in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Each stage is multiple biomes. So, like the Mad Forest stage, you've got 2 more in there to make it 3 Mad Forest stages, but with more difficult pathing and enemies each as you go up in stages. Then you've got the library. Then you got the dairy farm. Then you've got actually, I don't know how far you went, so maybe I should stop.
I think that's about where I am.
Okay, all
Or
right. Well,
Forest Bridge,
yeah, you've got 2 bridges, and
Milk.
you have to go just straight across and fight the enemies on. And yeah,
Yeah. I feel like there might be one more, but those are at least the ones that stick out to me.
yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Did you do Galileo Tower? Is that the other one you did?
No, I'm not. I don't know what
Okay,
that is. So no, I've
okay,
not seen that one.
all right. Yeah,
Um.
I really like this game. I really like this game. I also really like what you can unlock as you go further into this game, which I'm not going to spoil for you. I don't know. Did I show you the picture where I got so much money in one run?
I don't think so.
Okay, so what is your normal amount of money that you get, like gold coin wise, when you do like a run?
Oh, I don't even know. I haven't even really been paying that much attention to that because I spend so much money so fast right now at the beginning of the
Okay,
game that.
so a normal run is about 4 to like 5,000. I made 80,000 in one run,
Oh, that's great.
and then I turned around and made 120,000 next in another run.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, no, I definitely have not had runs like that for sure yet. Yeah, it might have been bit more tepid so far, but it's just like Vampire Survivors,
Mm-hmm.
where you start out very bare bones, and then
Yes,
the game gets more complex and developed as you start to unlock more and more things.
it
So I'm
definitely
still
does.
in that like kind of early process of unlocking things. I mean, the game definitely has very much a Vampire Survivors feel to it.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think it's as accessible, but that's mostly because of the
Mm.
genre change. Just because, just walking around and not doing anything compared to having to manage cards. Like there's a whole different level of, nuance there.
That's
Um,
fair.
and but I think, kind of with that on its thing, because Vampire Survivors was kind of a very hands off,
Mm-hmm.
kind of experience. And they kind of tried to do that with Vampire Crawlers too. And I just don't think that's as successful there. There's definitely too many things where I'm like, I have no fucking clue what's going on. I'm like, I know I'm doing
Oh,
something right, but like, and I have a general idea of what I'm doing, but something here is not adding up, like combos, for
oh,
example. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I
I mean,
haven't.
I
I
don't.
don't think I felt that way at all. That's odd.
Yeah, like for example, like with combos, like if I do, like I can't quite figure out. Like I know you can get like maybe you can answer the question. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
yeah. Maybe I
possible.
can.
Okay, so with combos,
Yeah,
if I do like 0, 1, 2, you get a bonus because the
correct.
cards have numbers and you get a bonus on that. So
Yeah.
you get it for doing that. But then if I do 0, 1,
Mm-hmm.
a wild card,
Yes,
and then a 0, I will get a 4 chain. Why?
correct. So that wild card
Mm-hmm.
basically just resets it so you could start playing anything afterwards. So you can go 0, 1 wild, which is wild, so it can count as anything. It can even count
Okay,
as
so
a
it's
number
continuing the
beforehand.
combo
Correct,
from
correct.
anything as
Yes,
opposed to. because I imagine because like most games, like when you do wild cards, like
Mhm.
you give that wild card a value.
No, it's not given a
Um,
value because you can actually in this game you can set your cards up to even be negative numbers. So
mhm.
technically it would have a value. It would be -1 and then when you play the next card it's the 0 card so you're still continuing the value
No, I get
because
it when you
of the
explain
fact
it
that you
like
can
that.
go
That
like
makes sense. I'm
deeper
just
and
saying
deeper and
most
deeper
games
into it.
don't generally let cards like wild cards have like multiple values.
It's essentially like
Um,
a stopgap. Like once you have that wild card played, you can
mhm.
just start back over and just start playing your 0, 1, 2, 3 cards all over again. And if you do that and you have a bunch of wild cards, then you can be like 0, 1, 2, 3 wild card, 0, 1, 2, 3 wild card, 0, 1, 2, 3 wild card, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 wild card, and then like just keep the combo going forever. Essentially,
Okay.
if
Okay.
you've set up a bunch of wild cards in your deck.
Okay. That makes more sense. All right, second question of things that I
Sure,
just do not
of
have
course.
not been able to figure out yet and have not been able to Google. What is with the bosses and the eyes?
The bosses in the eyes.
Yeah, like the circles of eyes.
Oh, they're angels.
But they're signifying something.
Oh,
What it
oh, oh, you
what
mean that. You mean that. Okay, I got you. I got you. That's to the turn order. So if you see like a damage amount, like it says you're going to take 12 damage from a boss,
uh-huh.
once the eyes have fully filled up the circle, like a clock going around from the 12 o'clock all the way back around to the 12 o'clock,
Yeah.
that's when it does its attack to you.
Okay, but when does
So you
what makes it progress?
every single turn, it fills up with an eye.
But no, it goes mid-turn. Like it's like I will be doing a combo and it will stop the combo to attack and then it will let me continue afterwards.
Yes, because
So
every time
what
you play anything, it counts as a turn for the boss.
okay, so it's
So if you
constantly
were to
moving even
it's
though I'm
constantly
just in
moving when
one.
you are doing a turn. Yes,
Okay.
yes. So like
See,
say
these are
you play like a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever that
mhm.
sort of thing, 4 eyes will appear inside. I mean 5 eyes because the 0. 5 eyes will fill up in the board of the boss. And
Okay,
then
and so
once it
each
gets
card you play makes one more
counts as
eye.
a turn for the enemy. Yes, correct.
Okay. See, these are things I'm talking about. Like just like little things that aren't like don't really like I said, there are things I can muddle through like pretty easily, but
Yeah,
I'm just
no.
like what I'm like I don't what the fuck is going
It
on?
took me a while to understand it too. I literally just figured it out by playing essentially because I
Yeah,
was
and
like, okay,
I've
I
only
don't
had like
understand why.
I've only maybe
Again, it's not
gotten a
holding your
couple good
hand
runs
at
out of
all,
it.
so it's kind of like just
No.
learn it yourself. But once you do kind of like look at it and take a step back and look at what's going on, it's kind of like the battle system you have for like old Final Fantasy games. Like when you do a turn, but like the enemy is like they're not ready yet. They're doing their turn still. It's still a turn. They just can't attack yet. So it's like you doing a turn, they've done a turn, you doing a turn, they've done a turn, but they haven't attacked. They're like waiting. They're like, buffing their attack, getting it ready to go. But every single time you're doing a turn, their bar is still filling up while you're doing your turn. That sort of
Okay.
thing. And that's what they're doing here as well. So
Yeah,
even
it's
if you
just
don't
it's
in
strange.
turn, it's anytime you play something, it fills up an eye. So you have to look at what you're playing and look if you can find some way to make them interrupt their attack, and you can by getting things that like push back enemies, because if you like push them back, that pushes them back a whole row, and that means they aren't going to be attacking you that round. So if you have
Yes.
things that can do pushback or like freeze or whatever, it freezes their attack. So like if it would be their turn to attack, they're not going to attack you quite yet because you've found a way to interrupt it.
Okay. No, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, those are really kind of the things that I'm just kind of working through right now. I'm just like, okay, I'm like, there's just some things that just do not quite 100% add up in the game like that. But otherwise, I've been having fun with it. Like I said, I don't think it grips me as much as Vampire Survivors did.
I
Kind of
don't
the
think
same
it does
period, but
either for me, but I think it's because Vampire Survivors. I'm still running through that. I still play Vampire Survivors because there's a lot of content to that. There's still a lot of content here, especially for the $10 price point, and there's a
mhm.
lot of things you can do here. But I do feel like this one's a bit more finite. Like once you've kind of finished runs and unlocked all the stuff you kind of have, and then that's it. Now, there could be something that completely changes it on its head at the very end here, but so far it doesn't feel like that is the case. So,
Okay, yeah,
once and I'm at like 32 hours or something like that essentially for it. So, probably once I 100% this, which will not be that much longer, I'm I'll be done with it until the DLC comes out. So
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's as much like Vampire Survivors. It's just you can just have a lot of fun, just kind of like mucking around with it. And
absolutely.
I agree. This one, you feel like I feel like it's just more about like progression as opposed
Hmm.
to just like, oh, I'm just having fun. Like, I mean, some of the levels are just not fun like that. I don't know how to explain it.
I think
Like,
it
it's
comes
just
with the nature of the RNG of just being like, all right, whatever, here you go. It's a top down dungeon crawler thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
get your first.
that's another thing actually, the RNG speaking of. I do feel like the RNG can like super fuck you over in this game, like far more than Vampire Survivors. Um
I
I
kind
just
of
have
agree
some
at the
really shitty
beginning, but I do
deaths.
think you can set yourself up to win pretty easy as you get further along in the game,
Makes sense. Yeah, once
especially
you have
depending on
more
the crawlers that you unlock. So, and
yeah,
the crawlers
they
you
make a
use.
big difference.
I tend to
And
use the one that does the dual pistols a lot of the time, and go for that kind of run, like
I don't think
level
I
it up
have
as
that one
fast as
yet.
possible. You should be able to buy her.
Then maybe it's just I'm
So,
not thinking of who it is then. Um
the red and the green guns. If that makes any sense.
nope, I have no clue
Okay,
what you're talking about.
all
So
right.
maybe I have not seen them.
Maybe you haven't unlocked them because you didn't beat another character. See, that's the thing. If you run through it with other characters, you unlock other characters for beating a run with those
Yeah.
characters. So you can go back through like the old runs that are super easy now because you've got more attributes and more stuff from leveling up your like overall skill tree,
Hmm.
and then just run through it very quickly and beat it with a character to unlock more characters, which is essentially what I did for quite a few characters. I unlocked every character except like the last one, I think, at this point.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And there's a decent amount of characters,
Hmm.
and um, without spoiling anything, it's really cool what you can do with said characters as you unlock more and more, and you get further in the game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've liked the characters that I've been playing with, well, for the most part.
Hmm.
And I like the way that they kind of translated some of the powers and power ups into this game a little bit better. I mean, I'm still kind of figuring out some of the nuance with like the evolving system thing there too. That's another area that they really just I don't think they really kind of give you a lot of direction on. But that one I think is a little bit more straightforward.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it is a lot of fun. I really like kind of like the surprises and be like, oh, I got this power up. But like a lot of times lately, it's I'll get a new power up and they'll be like, oh, I don't have anywhere near the mana to handle this thing. So, but that's gotten better as I've gotten through too. I've gotten much better with mana management. Um, and kind of figuring out how to get those and keep those more usable pretty regularly. I had a run last night that was kind of like some of my it felt much like my really good runs from Vampire Survivors where I just like feel like invincible and I was just like just going through and just
Oh
like
yeah,
estimating things. And that
when
was
you have
really
those
fun.
runs, it's like,
Mhm.
damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, like everything kind of went up well, and then there's that. I think the one thing that kind of stinks with this too is, comparatively like to Vampire Survivors, as time goes on, that really kind of like ups the escalation. Like you really don't have that. It's just kind of like, yeah, you just gotta get to the end of the dungeon, and then that's the end. Like I don't know.
I
Maybe it gets different the further levels,
respectfully
but
disagree later on in the game, especially if you go for the optional bosses.
uh, but it's not. But you still have those moments of like calm though. Like
Okay, I'm
that doesn't
gonna.
change, right?
No, it changes. I'm gonna show you this real quick, okay?
Okay.
Without making it super spoiler heavy. So this is me by the end of a run. It's just maximum insanity.
No, I get that that's there, but like, what about in between battles? Like you're still walking around, it's still dead, right?
Oh,
Like,
you mean like going from one place to the next one?
yeah,
So as you get further along, there are a lot more battles on one map at a time. So, like, yeah, there's obviously that moment of calm before you press forward to go like in a direction or whatever. But no, I get what you're saying there. That makes sense. That does make sense.
yeah. Like
But
Vampire Survivors, like you don't get a moment to like break. Like it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
you're right.
always going all the time. This one, like, yeah, like there's definitely moments in between like battles where you're like, oh, I'm running really low on health. Like, am I gonna
Yes,
make it through this? Like, there's still that
yes,
kind of tension, but it's
absolutely.
like, but it's not like you're you got time to think about it. Like you can be like, I'm gonna
You do.
sit here and think what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna go fight this guy now? Do I want to go and look and see if maybe there's power ups or something that I missed in the
Yeah, no, that's
level?
fair. I understand
Um,
what you're saying now. That's totally fair. That is definitely a thing. You definitely have the privilege of being able to like take a few moments of a
yeah,
breather
you think
after
and
you finished a big fight. But during said big fight, I do think it gets just as hectic
oh yeah, no, it is
as the
hectic
fight
during
in.
those for
Yeah.
sure. And really, even too, it's like, oh, I should have played this card or that card. Like it would have been a little bit better. Like those kind of
Hmm.
things. Like yeah, those are still there, but like I said, it's just not the like because in survivors too, I always had that like countdown clock. Like you have a
Yeah.
finite amount of time. Like this is the end. Like it's coming. Like you have to be done with that. There's no, at least not that I
That's
see. There's no countdown clock
yeah.
here. Yeah, like it's like you just have as much time as you want to get through the dungeon. Like your only kind of
There
limit is
is something similar to that, and I will explain it because I don't know if
mm-hmm,
you've run into it. Later on, as you are doing heavier and bigger combos, if you
mm-hmm.
keep replaying the same card, the card will break.
Oh no,
And
I have not seen that.
if you break a card, it
Mm-hmm.
summons one of those Grim Reaper things to instantly join the fight you're inside of right now.
Interesting. No, I have not seen that. That is kind of
So
neat.
that is a thing that happens. They're called the
Mm-hmm.
Trickster. They're like a lower version of the Grim Reaper, but depending on how high into the game you are, so like if you're in Mad Forest, it does like 45 damage a hit. But
Okay.
if you're in like the like later levels, it's gonna do like 500 in one hit. So you'll have to instantly kill it if you accidentally summon it, or you're just dead and your run is gone. So that is
Yeah.
something that you do have to keep in mind. You don't want to break cards, although there is an achievement for breaking a card and then defeating the trickster, which I highly recommend doing on the first stages of the game. But yeah, it is a thing that can happen.
Okay. That is interesting. Yeah, I've not experienced that. Does it like give you any like thing to let you know a card is breaking?
Yes, it will start cracking. You'll notice cracks in the card, and you'll also see like window like cracks start spreading. So like if you play like so for instance the picture I showed you, I have a 29 combo going on.
Uh-huh.
There's some cards in there that have these little cracks that are like windshield like cracks. And like as you play the same card, like if you're able to recall that card that you've already played and play it again in another thing of combos in the same fight, then
Mm-hmm.
it will crack more and it'll crack more and more until it breaks. I believe you can do it like 4 times when it cracks, and then it will eventually snap. And when that snaps, then it will summon a like super powerful boss that you have to fight. Then and there, you have to defeat him. You can't
Okay.
run away. You have to beat him, or else you lose, pretty much.
Interesting.
So you do have to be mindful of the cards that you are playing back to back over and over again, and keep an eye on them so that that doesn't happen. Or if you're trying to make that happen, then you need to already have your character built in a way that you can handle something like that if it does happen.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
So yeah, very fun. I really like this game. I think it's a very, very good game.
I've been pretty happy with it so far. I just haven't had a ton of time with it yet. But yeah, I really do enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think that's all I have to say about it for now though. Music's really good though.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I really really liked Vampire Survivors. I do think as far as taking Vampire Survivors to another genre, this is probably the best they could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
It is phenomenally done. It is absolutely fantastic. Do I think it's as addicting as Vampire Survivors? No. Do I think it's as good as it? In some respect, but you also have already pointed out some of the flaws, essentially, where like you don't have that hectic moment all the time like you would in Vampire Survivors, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to in this game where there is a bit of calm every now and again where you can kind of sit back and think about your next move.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like it. I think this is a really really good game. And I think it is worth the $10 for what is here.
Mm-hmm.
I want more. That's all.
That's
And I do
fair.
feel like that once I do finish this, it's gonna be like, okay, well I'm done now, so I can move on to something else.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
whereas Vampire Survivors, I always come back to like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
good game, very very good game, easily top games released this year. Yeah, go ahead. You got any more things you want to talk about?
Why don't you talk about yours? Because everything else I have to talk about, I've talked about before. So
Okay. I'll talk about it in order that it released. I played Sarsos, which is the spiritual successor to Returnal. And
Hmm.
if you know me, Returnal is my favorite game released during the PS5 Xbox Series generation of games that we have going on right now. And this is just as good, if not better. It is a phenomenal game. It is easier, I will say that first and foremost. In preparation for Sarros, I actually started playing through Returnal the day before it came out, and I had an absolute blast playing through Returnal, even though that game is very, very difficult. Um, but Sarros is a game where you play as a man that is on this mission to find his lost comrades on this space mission in this area about a sun that is essentially blowing up, but there's some kind of deity, it seems, that is consuming people, a la like Dead Space with like the pyres and the stuff like that. And essentially something weird keeps happening. Stuff doesn't make a lot of sense in this world.
Hmm.
For instance, you'll go hunting for one of your groups that just went off to an expedition to try and form like a new base of operations somewhere out there on this planet, and you find them eventually. And when you find them, you find the data logs of their setup and everything, but you don't find the actual people that made the base at all. You're still searching for them, but you find where they should be, and you find their data logs. You bring it back to your main place, and you find out that the data logs are from a century ago,
Okay.
which means these people that just left a few, like hours, days ago, have been missing for a century because time doesn't work correctly here. The game world that you're on, this planet, messes with your brain, tries to really fuck with you. And essentially the way this works is you go out a la Returnal, and you have different biomes, and the first biome is always like a setup preparation phase. So like the first layer of the biome will have like these things that you can break and interact with, and it allows you to get power ups. Like it might be something like you do more damage as long as you're moving. And it's like, okay, well, cool, or just like, oh, it's going to add power to you no matter what. You just have more power, or it's going to make it so you can move faster. You can just move faster. And like the first level of every biome will be ones without any kind of like risk to them. Like there won't be anything that says like, oh, or if this happens then this happens. And then when you get to the second layer, you'll have more powerful pickups and power ups that you can pick up. However, these will come with some kind of like thing to deter you from picking them up sometimes. Like for instance, it'll be like, hey, you get like 20 more power, or you get like 10 more power or something. But if you get hit, you lose the currency in game, and on top of taking health damage, you also lose some of your money. And you want that currency because after every run, when win or lose, you get to bring back some of your currency, and you can use that as on the skill tree to level yourself up. This is literally a AAA roguelike. It's literally a AAA roguelike bullet hell third person shooter, just like Returnal. But instead of being like full on roguelike this time, it's more like a roguelite. And a roguelike, in the difference between that and a roguelite is the fact that roguelites allow you to have some form of progression outside of just the runs. So outside of every run, you have the option to level yourself up and make yourself better, so that when you go and do the next run, you're more powerful. You take more damage. You can get further along than you did your last run, and that's what Sarros does here that Returnal did not do. And I really like Returnal for its difficulty, but I really like Sarros for a lot of its quality of life changes here. I also think the world is very interesting, as because of like the idea of time not being a concept on this planet, and these different people that are scattered everywhere that you're hunting for. in their mind they've been lost for like, eons and centuries, and they've gone fucking insane, but you just saw them like 20 minutes ago, and you're like, what the fuck's going on here, essentially. And these people, you find them and they're babbling about some god and needing to open the gates to go to this place, this paradise, this that and the other, and they are actually going insane, and you're trying to figure out what is causing this while you're running through all these different biomes and fighting all the creatures on this planet that really do not want you here. It is incredible to look at. This game is actually like beautiful, especially in HDR. It looks phenomenal. The different combat choices that they have here, such as the dedicated shield button, works really well, because when you shield in this game, you can take some of the hits and convert them into like a powerful blast that you can throw back at enemies. So sometimes there's a little bit of a cat and mouse game when you're fighting against bosses, where they'll have like yellow bullets but some blue bullets, and if you hold your shield and walk through the blue bullets, you absorb them, which makes you more powerful, which allows you to send a very powerful blast back at your enemy that you're fighting. And that kind of cat and mouse element in the boss fights leads to really interesting moments and a lot of really fun mechanics that different bosses use. I think this game's really, really good. Like, really, really good. I
Mhm.
will probably have a lot more to say about it in the coming weeks, because this is something that I'm probably going to go very hard on. I've only played about 8 hours so far, but I've loved the whole time that I've been playing it. I do feel like it is a game that is a lot more dialed
Mhm.
in a way where I will probably have, again, less content, much like with Vampire Crawlers versus Vampire Survivors. Same with Sarsos versus Returnal here. But a more condensed form that, feels like it's doing what it wants to do, and it's not outstaying its welcome. Essentially, that's how I
Okay.
feel about Saros so far. A Returnal, when I went back to it, I realized a few things. A lot of Returnal's progression is based off of RNG elements, which is not good, not really good to tie your progression to that sort of deal. And Saros isn't that way. There is actually like a skill tree. There's a finite amount of nodes you can get on the skill tree before beating the boss, and then you have to beat the boss to continue further along in your skill tree. So it does cap you off at a point where this is as high as the skill tree will take you, which is good because it still makes it challenging. But then you actually have a larger ceiling once you beat that boss and move on to the next one. There's also these teleporters that allow you to jump between biome and biome and biome and biome. So you can go straight to like biome 3 or biome 4 instead of having to go through 1, 2, and 3 to get to 4, which is very good and a great quality of life. Again, it does make this game way easier, in my opinion, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means it's different. And I still like it, even with it doing that sort of thing.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like you're having a lot of fun with that.
I am. I'm absolutely having a blast. All right, so moving on from that, I'll talk about this other game that I started playing when it came out
Mhm.
last night, actually. It's called NTE, which stands for Neverness to Everness. It is
Okay.
a new gotcha game
Mhm.
that, for lack of a better term, is Control or the SCP Foundation combined with Grand Theft Auto.
Wait, what combined with Grand Theft Auto?
Control or the
Okay.
SCP Foundation combined with Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't expecting that. We got anime GTA before GTA 6, so that's a thing. Um, we got a free to play gotcha GTA before GTA 6. That's wild.
Mhm.
Yeah, very fun. Let me see if I can explain this one. So this one's super different. It does play like most gotcha games where you have like a rotating cast of characters that you play as based on who you've unlocked or who you're playing as in the current story progression. And that's fine. But there are a lot of other things like you could just be wandering around the town, the open world like city, and you might run into things like an anomaly that wants to go play hide and seek, and it will give you like little hints as to where it's going, and you search around this big open world to try to find where it's hiding at. Or, for instance, you have a mission where and this is early in the game, there's a mission where this guy who does family photos is having trouble with an anomaly inside of his building, which is like a ghost or a deity or something in there. And you're there to contain it essentially with you and your group. But you go in and you start investigating the area and finding out what is going on. And the world starts kind of warping around you. Like, since you're doing things to do with film and like photographs and everything,
Uh-huh.
the world like starts being like, as you're playing, like a shutter will take a snapshot of you and it will like delete parts of the world, or it'll change like the game view to like a negative camera view, and then you have to like go through the space that's been opened up by that camera. And it's like got all these really weird moments like that where it feels like you're playing like something like Control, where a haunted object is manipulating the world around you. And it's really cool the way it's done. It's very flashy, it's really interesting, but then it's in the wrapper of a free to play gotcha game, you know. So
Yeah.
you still got the things you'd have with gotcha, like, you know, 10 pulls, or wanting you to spend a shit ton of money to try to pull the character you're looking for, and that sort of thing. They'll give you a bunch of free currency so that you can use it to play the game to get you started, but eventually you're going to have to either grind out a lot or fork out some money to get the characters you're looking for.
Okay.
But it's different because it's like a very big open world that you can like walk around inside of and like go inside buildings. You can like own an apartment and like decorate it. You can own buildings like you can in GTA and like decorate them. You can buy different cars to drive around the open world. You can customize your vehicles. You could do all these little mini games. Like, there's a whole maid cafe mini game, but it's like a whole nother game inside the game, and it's got a lot of those elements that kind of slot it somewhere between like Grand Theft Auto and like Yakuza if it was a free to play game. And it's kind of wild the amount of stuff that is in this for a game that is literally free.
That's pretty
So
cool.
it's cool. I'm probably 7, maybe 8 hours into this one as well. And I mean, I've gone around and just like walked around the city to like explore it, and then things have happened, like lockers have opened up and like monsters have come out of the lockers or stuff, or like someone was trapped inside of a phone booth, but the phone booth comes alive and I have to defeat the phone booth to free the person. And then like they give me some kind of reward, and I'm able to like pacify the creature, and it gives me an ability that I can use with my character, and like attach it to them to give them like more damage, or like uh you know, something like that. It's very different. It's very weird, but it still has that same like gotcha game feeling, but it feels like it's on a much grander scale. I don't know how big the world is yet, but I have like just taken time walking through like back alleys or driving vehicles around the town and that sort of thing, and there's been a lot to do. It's pretty cool.
Okay. I mean, that's good. Yeah. I mean, especially for a free to play game.
Hmm.
What's the how are they getting money then?
Oh, easy. I just told you. You want to earn characters, you can earn them by grinding a shit ton of currency that you can then use for pools, or you can just pay money to buy those pools instead of having to grind the currency. So it's the gotcha aspect of it. So it's like
Okay.
you do a 10 pull, and did you get the character you wanted? Nope. Better drop 15 more dollars or go grind for another 5 hours, you know? So that sort of deal.
Fair.
And obviously, there's a finite amount of free currency you can get, but you know, you can get lucky. I mean, I've gotten quite a few characters already, so there's that. It
Yeah.
also keeps player retention coming back because, you know, you get daily logins, that sort of deal, as you would have with any of these kind of games.
Hmm.
And log in, get like 10 currency here, but it costs like 16,000 currency, to do that. So you got to log in a bunch of days to be able to get it for free, or, spend money and go about it that way. But they want to get people in the door, so they've given like I'd say like 3,000 or 4,000 free currency. So that's like 40 pools maybe, somewhere in there,
Pretty nice.
which is a decent amount. And if you get if you go 50 pulls on the normal banner, then that allows you to grab one of the characters of your choosing for free. So that kind of pushes people to be like, well, I guess I could go for like 10 more pulls, that
Mm-hmm.
sort of deal, and then pick the character I want. Uh, it's the same as any other gotcha game. I just really like the world with this one because I like anomaly stuff. I like things like Control. I like things like the SCP Foundation, and the way the world like morphs around you and these entities interact with you is super cool. Like the story is pretty fucking boring overall. It's nothing grabbing my attention, but the world is really interesting. So I like that.
Yeah.
It has multiplayer too. I haven't tried it yet. But it has
Oh yeah.
co-op multiplayer. I have no idea how that works, but it looks like it just works like if you were playing GTA Online. So that's fucking weird. But I'll try that out probably tonight or something.
Yeah. That's interesting though.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
it. That's what I have been doing.
Okay. Yeah, most of mine just wrapping up some things that I had finished up the rest of this week. So I finished with Resident Evil 6. That's donezo. Bye.
Nice.
I finished up the last two missions, or last two, not missions. What's the word I'm looking for? Stories, plots. I'm not sure how I want chapters.
Hmm.
Chapters might probably isn't even the right word for it either. But yeah. So I finished up. Who are my last two? Jake and Sherry's, and then Ada's kind of stories there. I ended up switching the difficulty down lower than normal, and that actually made the game. I mean, I wouldn't call it enjoyable, but tolerable is
Hmm.
probably a better way to put it. Because by turning it down, it ended up mitigating a lot of the stuff that was starting to get really annoying, like the bullet sponge bosses and
Mm.
bullet sponge enemies and the very limited ammo in some cases. Because I think I was saying last time when I was playing through Chris, I ended up switching just to fists because I kept on running out of ammo like every 10 seconds. So this way, at least I was able to just kind of keep using guns and stuff through the whole thing.
Hmm.
It's nice. I think my take on Resident Evil 6 at this point is I think it's interesting, like a story wise. I actually think it's interesting how they managed to like kind of tie all these stories together. Because that is one thing I think the game did very well. I think having like the four kind of different stories and just kind of how they interact and interweave in between each other, I think was actually kind of well done. Um, but really, in terms of like what people need in terms of Resident Evil, like you just need the story, or not really. Like this game doesn't offer much in terms of gameplay on that side of things because it's so different from the rest of the series. It was just maybe only a okay at best co-op
Hmm.
shooter. Um, but yeah, I mean that I thought was a little bit interesting. Kind of side thought too. I was like, because when I finished it up, I was like, well, let's see how it looks on the OG Switch and see. Um, actually, it ran surprisingly well. It still looks very good there. I mean, I'm not surprised it was a Switch game, but it did not seem to benefit as much from the Switch 2 kind of play up as I expected. So, but I'm just glad to be done with it. I'm definitely taking a break from Resident Evil at this time. Although if I go back to another one, and probably five, I'm thinking is probably would be the next one, where I go just to kind of keep working my way backwards like I have been. So there's that. I finished up Pragmata. Love that
Hmm.
game. Definitely. I was thinking about it, just kind of. This is definitely a side detour before I go back farther into Pragmata, but I realized, for the end of April, 4 months in the year, I have like a very solid start to a game of the year list already
Yeah, I
for
kind of feel the same way.
2026.
I kind of
And
feel the same way.
I
There's some
never feel this way in
crazy
the first half
bangers.
of the year.
Yeah,
Never. I'm
I
like,
think I do, but like, I mean, I play everything, so.
mhm. Yeah. No, I know, but I mean, I feel like even last year, we're getting down there like, it's kind of hard filling out some of those spots sometimes. But like this time, I'm like I have a pretty easy top five, and it's only going to get better, as the year goes on.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, Pragmata definitely will be on that top 10 list somewhere at this point in this year. Like I'm not surprised by that. Where I don't know,
Very
but
nice.
I did really enjoy where it is. It does have so when you finish the game, it does unlock like an extra area where you can go through and do some challenge kind of missions basically for rewards that can get you maybe kind of like some additional content for the
Hmm.
ending. I like the way that it held up. Like I think I said last time too, I think that they did a great job making sure that you were always getting kind of new and fresh things to see in the game, and I think they thought of some really interesting ideas there. I hope that this ends up, getting. I think they set it up for a sequel well. Hopefully, it ends up getting there. Hopefully, it sells well enough to justify it. But I thought it was really cute, kind of the way the story came down. I think they did a great job with the characterization of Hugh and Diana, and yeah, I did just genuinely enjoy what was there. I think it all ended up playing pretty well. This game, though, definitely benefits more, kind of opposed to some Switch 2 games we talked about previously. Definitely seems to benefit more in TV mode than in handheld. Like it definitely
I
seems to
see.
have more of a frame rate issue there on the
Mm.
Switch 2. But otherwise, it seems to run well enough for what you need overall. I thought I did really enjoy the game, so very happy with that one. And there's something I was going to say about Pokemon Champions, but I don't remember what it was at this point. But I've still just been kind of playing through that. So there's that there. The other game that I have had on the back burner, which I didn't write down there, but I've still been kind of going in and out of,
Hmm.
Tamagotchi Life, which I actually don't think I've actually talked about since the game came out, since it was so similar to the demo, because the demo just kind of gave you basically like early access to the game, let you basically do a little bit of content before the game started. There is
Hmm.
a lot more to this game though than comparatively to say the 3DS version, although maybe it's just I just don't remember it as well. But like it's got like a full on island builder there. It seems like you can have almost unlimited amounts of Miis. I'm sure there's probably a limit, but the way the game talks, like it's just kind of like, yeah, just keep putting in as many people as you want. We'll make room for them.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. It's still super quirky. There's still just lots of random stuff. It definitely is a much slower progression chain to kind of get through things. So
Hmm.
I feel like I'm unlocking things decently but slowly, because there's definitely some things that I'm like, I want this, but they're like, oh, you got to be this level, and I'm like, I'm so far away from that. Uh, yeah, so that's a lot of fun. I think though, I was thinking about it yesterday when I was playing it. I was like, I this game definitely has not been captivating as me as much as the 3DS one, but I think it's just because of just I already kind of know this game's bag of tricks with like the quirkiness and like the weird stuff. So once you know to expect that, it's just kind of like, yeah, here it is. That's what it is.
Hmm.
Not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, they added a lot into this game. It seems like you can decorate your island. There's more things that you can buy to kind of help with that kind of thing. But it just doesn't seem to really just kind of differentiate itself enough from the last one. Um, but TBD. I still haven't put a ton of time into it yet, so
Mm.
there's still some there. But I do think that part of the original Tamagotchi Life's kind of draw was its uniqueness, and now that the game exists, this game is just not unique anymore in that regard. So, um, but for the people who have not experienced it, it's still really cool. It is really nice as there. It is a nice pick up and play game. And like I said, though, it does kind of scratch a similar itch to me as Pokopia, so kind of navigating time between the two of those can be a little bit more difficult.
I
But
see. I see.
yeah. Otherwise though, that's all I've been playing on that side of things. So really just kind of getting into things. By Indiana Jones, I just got a notification that pre-order is getting ready to go up. So that's less than 2 weeks away. So that's
Very nice.
exciting. I'm excited to play through that because I still haven't played the DLC yet. I know it's short and brief. It's not really going to change my experience too much, but there's
Hmm.
still some more content to look forward to. And I did really enjoy that game so much. I think we talked about it too before, but I did see it just like factually pointed out on Reddit today too. But it is wild to me that the only place you can get this game fully on a piece of physical media is on the Switch 2. because the Xbox and the PlayStation versions did not do that. They still they're basically game key cards
Wait,
um,
what
for
for
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones? That's
We talked
crazy.
about it before with the Xbox one, but
Yeah, I
apparently
know,
it
but I
applies to
thought
the
by the
PlayStation as well.
PlayStation version would have done better. That's what I thought. You know.
At least that's what I read. I didn't look into it like past what someone had commented, but I mean, we know it's true for Xbox, so I'm like, it doesn't really surprise me if
I'm
it's
gonna
the
go to
same for
Does It Play? Give
PlayStation.
me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me one
Yeah.
second. Uh,
Was there a website that you can actually check to see like?
yes, there's a site called
Hmm.
doesitplay.org, which tells you if it has a full game on the thing and if it's playable, if it requires an update, or if it requires an online connection, or if you can
Interesting.
only do that. It's a very good website.
Yeah.
So, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle tested on a base PS5. Does it play offline?
Survey
Yes.
says.
Yes, it does play offline.
Okay.
Does it require a update download in order to play online? Also, yes. PS5 consoles, also with detachable hard drive, require an internet connection to activate the disk drive before even installing the disk-based copy. All right, moving on from that, only 20 gigabytes are on the disk. The game will then greet you with a mandatory download if you want to launch it.
Well, so
So
there you
it
are.
does require a online connection and a download in
As soon as you
order
said
to
20 gigs,
play.
I'm like,
Yeah,
yep, nope.
yeah,
That's
that's not good. Yeah.
because I'm like, I know the Switch one because I just made room for it yesterday. Is 60 gigs.
Yep,
So
that's crazy.
yeah, wild.
I want I think they have Switch stuff on here too. Yeah, they have Switch games on here also.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, like for instance, here's Super Mario World and Bowser's Fury. Does it play offline? Yes. Does it require a download? Nope. And then it tells you what can be completed. It'll tell you if there's any glitches also for playing the 1.0 on cartridge version as well. There's a
Oh,
lot
that's
of good
kind of nice.
information here. It's a
That,
very, very good
that is
website. I
very useful,
highly
actually.
recommend looking into it if you're interested in that sort of thing.
Yeah. Um, although strangely, it does actually seem like a good segue into news.
It does. In
Um,
fact, these are the people that actually found out the information I'm about to share.
I'm
That's
curious
why I
what
know
you
about
had
them
read
as
because
well.
I've read kind of every time I look at this story, I've
It
seen a different kind
changes.
of explanation.
We've got
Um,
a full explanation.
okay,
We've got a
what is
finish.
the actual? Well, I guess maybe set up what the problem is, and
All
then
right,
yeah,
so
well,
the problem was people were finding after updating their PS5 recently that all of their games would present a thing when looking at the information that said they had a 30-day window for the license before they needed to restore it. People looked at this and thought to themselves that this is some form of new DRM that Sony has introduced that makes it so if you don't log in once every 30 days, you no longer have the license to your games. And that would be very, very bad, especially for games that you can't get the license to anymore because the developer or publisher no longer has the license to the property and did not renew said license. Things are still up in the air about that one, but I think that's fine because we have found out now what is actually going on, and I
hmm
will inform you. So
okay,
a lot of people were freaking out because they saw this as a way of going back to the whole "you will own nothing and you'll be happy" sort of deal that Ubisoft was pushing very hard, and that
hmm
Sony and other people were also agreeing with when it came to the Stop Killing Games initiative, which was a thing, if you remember last year, where people were trying to champion and campaign for people to be able to play games or at least host servers for games after they went offline to be able to continue playing their games. Sort of like things like that last BioWare game with the mechs that I cannot remember the name of right now. I think it's called Anthem. I don't know if there's
oh yeah, it's
another
Anthem.
title to it. And then things like The Crew, which was a Ubisoft title that was completely playable without the internet connected up until the very end of life, and then they just took it offline completely. So there's that. And people have started campaigning to have it so that people could own their products and whatnot. So when people saw this new DRM that Sony was introducing, they initially thought this was a way to get around that campaign. Because in some respect, that campaign did actually succeed. In other respects, it didn't succeed. But they thought this was a way for Sony to be able to have more control over the games that you own and when you can and cannot play them. Well, we don't fully understand the entirety of the situation, like I mentioned with the developer and publisher and what could happen if they end up not renewing a license. However, we do understand a large portion of this now. And essentially, what happened was someone on jailbroken PS4s and PS5s have found a loophole where you can purchase a game and then you can refund that game, but you go offline with said PS4 or PS5, and you don't lose access to that game that you refunded.
Okay, so this is in line with the explanation that I had heard most
Yes.
recently. Yeah,
Yes.
which
So what
basically was.
this? Go on. Did you
Oh
want
no,
to?
I was gonna say basically what I had read was basically that the the issue was that they had added kind of an extra stopgap to fix that issue, like you had said, but it's
Yes.
supposed to be hidden from the consumers, but they fucked up and
It was appearing in betas and other people's, like when people were running like beta versions of the PlayStation Network.
yeah, and stuff
It was
that it was
appearing for
maybe
them
not
and for other
necessarily
people.
supposed to.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and also too,
However, we
just
do actually have like more information on that as well. Essentially, what this is now that we've found out that's been tested by people like doesitplay.org
Mhm.
that we talked about is how this works is when you purchase a game, you purchase a 30-day license for it. You log in once in that 30-day period after the first 15 days, which is after the refund window, and then that license becomes permanent. So then you own that game. There's no more needing to log in to reevaluate that license through an online like server or anything like that. And that's
Yeah.
essentially how this is going to work. So whereas the DRM does exist, it exists essentially for a 2 week period. And then after that 2 week period is over, you fully own the rights to that game, at least the way we understand it right now, and there will no longer be need to re-establish your licenses via online sign-in after that 2 week period where the refund window has um, elapsed essentially.
Mhm.
And that's what we have seen from people that have tested it by doing things like removing their CMOS battery after a purchase of a game, and then seeing the way that works, and this, that, and the other, and seeing how it's supposed to um, handle this sort of thing. And yeah, it looks like that has been confirmed at this point by the community, by people like Does It Play and other people on Resetera, that the way this was supposed to work was from the get go. After the 2 week refund window is up, then a full license transfer is transferred over to you, and you have the rights to the game, and you can play it offline without needing to log in and authenticate with the server again. So it's not as bad as people thought it was. It is still a form of DRM. However, it's a form of DRM to get around an exploit that some people had found.
Yeah, which makes sense. There was another scenario on PlayStation apparently where this does occur as well, at least from what I recall, and I believe it's still there. And I think that was also causing some confusion in the midst of this too. But apparently, some of the, I think it's what I forget what they call them, the PlayStation Plus games. Some of them will have this similar kind of thing in it too. But that's just because you don't necessarily own those ones. Um, but yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, and I see why I do it. It's a smart idea, kind of on that side of things, especially if they're going to offer that sort of refund policy, which is not a bad thing. Um, but it's one of those things is like, just be clear with consumers what's going on, and you wouldn't run into this fucking issue. Um, just be like, hey, when you buy your game, you're going to get a 15-day license because of the refund window, and then once that's done, then you get your full permanent license. Just tell people like.
Yeah, they really
Mhm.
need to be upfront about these sort of things so things like this can't get spread around. But some other people did bring up that if they were upfront about that, then
Mhm.
that would inform more people about the exploit to begin with, which would cause more people to search for exploits similar to it and cause more things like that to happen. And I do kind of understand that that like line of thinking. However, if you've already patched it, then why does it matter? And maybe you should just be upfront with people, like you said.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they already patched it, and not to mention too, it's just like I said, it's just it wouldn't even necessarily bring attention to the exploit if you just put it out as, hey, we added this refund. It's like, yeah, it's been brought to our attention. We did this update. If you recall, we did this update that gave us the ability to do, refunds within this 2-week window. This
Mm-hmm.
change was just to facilitate that. You don't have to point out it's even for an exploit. Just be like, hey, just to
Yeah.
make it so we can do your returns easier if there's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's all you have to say. Problem solved. Nobody's pissed. But just because you don't bring anything up about it, then it just becomes a douchey thing. Yeah, I don't know. I swear Sony's their own worst enemy 99% of the time. So yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, essentially they fucked up, and instead of informing people about the fuck up, it was allowed to fester, which has caused people to get more scared about what could potentially happen, which is a very valid thing to have happen. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I was also like, hey, what happens if, for instance, a developer doesn't renew their license? Does that
Hmm.
mean, since there's no license for us to have, that we can't have our license renewed? And I think it's going to be very likely that you're not going to have a developer not renew their license for something within a 15-day period of time. So that's not really anything to worry about at this point. But if it did stay what we initially expected,
Hmm.
with the 30-day thing, then that would have been a very real fear to have.
Yeah, that's a little different. I mean, even too, like, different thing for sure, but even like NSO, like with the free like NES and Game Boy and whatever games. When I'm traveling, I always find the fact that Nintendo has to do the check every 7 days to be so fucking annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I'm not always going to be around the internet. I mean, I can always log on and do it, but if I'm somewhere strange, I can't stop and just hop online just to play a game. Like, should have it so it's good through the time that it's valid. Actually, I think there's a while where I don't remember if it was Sony or Microsoft. One of them actually set it up so that's the way it worked. Be like, hey, you know what? You paid for this through then. Your games will be good through then. So we're not going to check again until you hit that end date where we know it should be expired. Um, but yeah, like I said, I think some of that has changed for different reasons, kind of as things have gotten a little bit different. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I don't know. Any other news or anything else you want to say on this?
No, I don't think so, honestly. I think I kind of laid everything out the way it was and what had happened, and I think we're good.
Okay.
It's understandable why it was done, and it makes sense, and it's not what we were afraid of it being, so I think that it is okay.
Yeah, it should be. I hope so, but
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
do too. I do too. I mean, I did just buy Sarsos on PlayStation 2 days ago, so let's see how this goes.
Yeah, give it a couple weeks for the update.
Yeah. Well, no, the update's already out. It already happened. Unless we get another update, which is
No,
like,
I
oh, by
mean
the
the
way,
update in
you get
terms of
2 days.
getting. I'm saying getting past your window.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So ready to wrap up then?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well then, thank you everyone for listening to us today. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. All of our episodes are on game-crunch.com. If you want to send us email, gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon,
Yep.
any final thoughts?
No, honestly, I've got nothing.
Okay. And for me, my name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online on Clash Bang with Air or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
You on the clock in the dead moon hall. One last worker when the robots fall. I just woke up with a metal grin. Locked down the station, let the trouble in. Cold gray decks and a red alert. Boot steps echo in the lunar dirt. And Diana rolls with a coded spark. Small hands, big hacks in the dark. Tap, tap, she cracks that lock. Blink, blink, they all stop short. Who says, kid, can we make it through? Diana says, watch me make them blue. Pragmata game on. Pragmata game on. You and Diana stand strong. Pragmata game on. Hack it, crack it, break that chain. Moonbase shaking, bring the change. Pragmata game on. Pragmata game on. One rogue mind on the station core makes every bot want a little more. Well, there's lunge and the drones all crash. Diana slips through with a lightning flash. You keeps moving, never alone. Broken hallway, make it home. She takes the signal, bends the fear, turns their code into crystal clear. Tap, tap, she cracks that lock. Blink, blink, they all stop short. Who says, kid, can we make it through? Diana says, watch me make them blue. Pragmata game on. Pragmata game on. You and Diana stand strong. Pragmata game on. Hack it, crack it, break that chain. Moonbase shaking, bring the change. Pragmata game on. Pragmata game on. From one lost man to a brave machine, in a busted world they take the screen. Ideas roars in a silver storm, but hope hits home when the code transforms. Pragmata game on. Pragmata game on. You and Diana stand strong. Pragmata game on. Hack it, crack it, break that chain. Moonbase shaking, bring the change. Pragmata game on. Pragmata game on.
Oh, this is so annoying.
I know. I know.
Well,
I
I'm
know.
like, I'm stuck in like a captcha screen, and whatever link I don't know if it's something from your Twitch channel, but it's just playing, and I can't get out of it until I get this security code
Oh,
from my
shit.
email.
I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing
No,
that.
it's not your fault.
Okay.
It was very anime sounding.
It doesn't seem like something I would have playing.
It said NTE on it, so I'm wondering if it's
Oh,
the.
that's a trailer for NTE, the game I was talking about.